Today, we're diving into the one single test that stands between a patient and one of the deadliest conditions out there, sepsis.
Think about this for a second. Somewhere in the world, one person dies every 3 seconds. It is a staggering, relentless number. And the cause is sepsis. So how do doctors fight back? Well, it's not with some single miracle drug. It's with information. And that information comes from one absolutely crucial investigation. So first things first, let's get to know the enemy. When we talk about sepsis, what we're really talking about is a desperate race against the clock. So what is it exactly? Well, sepsis is basically your body's immune system going haywire in response to an infection. Instead of just fighting off the germs, it starts attacking your own body, your own tissues and organs. It's a total friendly fire situation that can turn fatal fast. And I mean fast. Just look at how quickly things can go south. If a patient gets the right antibiotic within that first hour, they have about an 80% chance of survival. But with every hour that ticks by, that number just plummets. After only 6 hours, their chances are basically a coin toss. This isn't just a problem, it's a full-blown emergency. So how do you possibly win a race like that? You need a detective that can work at lightning speed. And that's where the blood culture comes in. A blood culture is, for all intents and purposes, a forensic investigation of the bloodstream. It's a lab test designed to hunt for any microbial intruders. We're talking bacteria or fungi, and it's pretty much the single most important tool doctors have to unmask the specific culprit that's causing the sepsis. This investigation has 3 very clear goals. Number 1, confirm there is an infection causing the problem. Number 2, identify the exact bug responsible. And number 3, and this is the real game changer, provide the intel needed to pick the perfect antibiotic to take it down. Okay, now just like in any good detective story, the entire investigation hinges on the quality of the evidence you gather at the scene. And in this case, the single most critical factor is surprisingly simple. It's volume. You have to collect enough blood. You see, the bacteria causing the chaos can be floating around in really low numbers, so a bigger sample size just dramatically boosts your odds of actually catching one. I mean, just look at how the numbers play out. See that first bar? With just one set of culture bottles, you've only got about a 73% chance of detecting the infection. Not great odds when a life's on the line, right? But take a second set, and boom, the detection rate jumps to nearly 90%. Get a third set, you're over 98%. That's the difference between a decent guess and near certainty. This is so critical that the clinical guidelines are incredibly blunt about it. This quote spells it out perfectly. Taking only one sample is a recipe for disaster. You risk missing the infection completely, and you can imagine the devastating consequences that would have for the patient. But getting enough evidence is only half the battle. A good detective also has to make sure that evidence doesn't get contaminated, because that can lead you down the path to a false positive. So let's break this down. A true pathogen is the actual bad guy here, the microbe that's really in a patient's blood causing the infection. A contaminant, on the other hand, is a false lead. It's just a random bug from the patient's skin or the equipment that accidentally got into the sample. One is the killer, the other is just an innocent bystander at the crime scene. And to avoid these false leads, the collection process itself has to be done with almost forensic precision. This means rigorously disinfecting the top of that culture bottle and, of course, meticulously cleaning the patient's skin where the needle goes in. Every single step is about protecting the integrity of that evidence. Because when a false lead slips through, the consequences are very, very real. A contaminated sample could mean a patient gets powerful antibiotics they don't even need. They could spend extra days stuck in the hospital, and it can rack up thousands of dollars in unnecessary costs. It's a huge mistake in every sense of the word. And now for the final act. Once that pure, high-quality evidence is collected, it's rushed straight to the lab for the verdict. So here's how it works. First, an automated system flags a bottle the second it detects any microbial growth. Think of it like an alarm going off. Then they do a gram stain, which gives them a quick first clue about what kind of bacteria they might be dealing with. After that, more advanced techniques give a precise ID. And finally, a susceptibility test reveals the pathogen's Achilles heel, the specific antibiotics that will kill it. And remember that ticking clock? That's why a positive blood culture is considered a critical result. It's a drop everything and act kind of alert. Labs are required to report it to the physician immediately, 24/7. The case has been cracked, and that life-saving information has to be delivered right away. So in the end, it all comes down to this. This little bottle of blood, it's not just a sample. It's the entire case file. It holds the identity of the attacker and the secret to defeating it.
So after following this entire investigation, from the patient's bedside all the way to the lab, what's the big takeaway here?
It's that fighting sepsis is a science of details. Every single step, from the swipe of an antiseptic wipe, to the volume of blood drawn, to the speed of that phone call from the lab, none of it is just a box to check on a form. It is a vital clue in a high-stakes investigation, where the outcome is, quite literally, a matter of life and death.